Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Conto Tour podcast. And today we have a new interview with Stéphane Picard from Cliff Valley Astronomy, the first AstroTourism company in New Brunswick. And we are very excited to listen him talk more about AstroTourism and the effects and the impact on the community. Stéphane, welcome. How are you?
Very good, Edmar. Thank you. Thank you for having me again and giving me this opportunity to discuss a little bit more about AstroTourism and the passion I have behind it and the potential I really believe it has for our region.
Fantastic, fantastic. And today we have a different line of thickness to bring new information about AstroTourism for you. It's really important that you stop everything you are doing now to listen a little bit about AstroTourism and sustainable development. Stefan, let's start with the first question, no? How AstroTourism is being a trend in Canada? Which provinces and territories are exploring this kind of experience?
I'll start from the national standpoint. There's not really a federal body or whether it's government-driven, NGO or industry-led that really is promoting AstroTourism right now. It's more left to each province's tourism agency or department, and some provinces are doing a fantastic job of it and some are just diving into it right now. Like hopefully New Brunswick is having some serious conversations about it. I'm hoping that this rolls out fairly fast and benefits the industry who they're serving. Saskatchewan's and Alberta are doing a great job with it. Nova Scotia has done a wonderful job just from the Yarmouth area where there's several tourism operators from Deep Sky Eye Observatory and Wolf Lodge as a few examples. They even have a week-long festival for Starlight Festival. So there's a lot of great things going on right now. Is there the potential for more? Yes, absolutely more. So basically what it's really driving the trend is the people seeking to escape the urban or the suburban areas when they look for vacations to go where they can enjoy nature. So it's more rural, it's coastal, it's all that. And from there, what they happen to stumble upon when you get into nature is the further away you are from the glare of lights in the city or towns and all that, then the darker the skies are. And that's what's really driving some of the AstroTourism is the destination is dark sky sites. So in Canada, the Royal Astronomy Society of Canada, and with the help of its provincial or city chapters, are really driving the process of recognizing specific areas, whether it's a park, a preserve, or any recognized landmass, to go through the criteria of being recognized as a dark sky site. And there's three kinds that are recognized in Canada. You have the dark sky preserves and the nocturnal preserves and the urban star parks. So this done in conjunction with how the International Dark Sky Association really sort of mandates and puts out their effort around the world, essentially. But from here in Canada, the Royal Astronomy Society of Canada has led that charge to certify certain areas across the country as those dark sky sites. From an industry standpoint, I keep coming back to the pre-pandemic times where Airbnb had over 50,000 listed properties that lists a telescope as an amenity. Well, the size of an Airbnb or other global companies have usually quite the resources from a marketing and an intellectual marketing capacity to get data from its clients or its markets and so forth. So for them to identify that means that there is demand out there for it. So that's probably coming back to saying that the trend is being led by primarily the niche demand, a growing niche demand, especially since the pandemic, because more people are have been drawn into astronomy as somewhere to spend time while you were on lockdown or so forth, or just the fact that you could just be outside more and do stuff that you couldn't do before with your family. You know, instead of driving during lockdowns, driving kids to a weekend hockey tournament, which is very hectic. Now they couldn't go anywhere. Well, you have to keep the family busy and occupied somewhat entertained. So a lot of people rediscovered the joy of looking up at the night sky because it has so much to offer. From that point, I think that's where the trends are going. I actually did speak to a tourism operator here in New Brunswick last night that they had a telescope in their dome, a glamping dome, and they said, you know, they were getting a lot of positive feedback on their reviews and all that for having that amenity. And but it wasn't a main focus yet. So hopefully they can get out there and to help them grow more their traffic base to their accommodations, or make it more of a value add proposition where they could get a few more dollars from the people staying at their properties. Then, you know, everything is, if it's managed, you know, that's when you see the results. And if it's managed, then you know you'll have the potential to grow it. And that just not just squarely resides on the shoulders of the tourism operators, but as an industry as a whole, which needs to be supported, of course, by whether it's a provincial or a federal jurisdiction. You know, to everything else, it requires infrastructure, and it has to be sustainable. It has to be done right. And when we're talking about dark skies, we're always talking about nature. So they kind of go hand in hand with not just saying sustainability from a ability to have businesses thrive, but a sustainability of what it means from an environmental standpoint.
Okay.
Sorry, long-winded again.
No, Stéphane, it's really nice. All the details you bring to our podcast, because our operators around Canada and around the world, they are listening to that and they are feeling this experience you are having now in New Brunswick. Thank you very much for your positioning. Now, it's really important for us to receive all the information you have.
Yeah.
No? Thank you for this brilliant point. No?
You're very welcome.
Stéphane, EXA Group Canada is trying to communicate with tour operators around the world. And thanks God, we are receiving great feedback from this kind of interview. We are now planning to expand the Contour podcast, and because this program we are developing here in Canada, Barbara Camargo will be my substitute, and she is starting to take care of the Contour podcast. Subscribe to our channel, activate the notification bell, and give us your like. It's important for us receive your feedback. Please comment below this video and bring us your doubts, your questions, your concerns. We are here to listen to you and bring strategies for your community. We want to live in a better place. And because that, EXA Group Canada is leading tourism as a tool for sustainable development in rural communities. Dark skies in New Brunswick. Tell us details about them.
Well, we have four, and they're, as we had mentioned in our previous podcast, they're sort of almost in the four corners of the province. And I'm going to start with Mount Carlton, which is a provincial park, and that's located in northwest New Brunswick. Deep in the woods. It's probably one of the best dark sky sites in all of Atlantic Canada. You're several dozen kilometers away south of Campbellton and to the east of Saint-Quentin, which is nearing towards the Quebec line border area. So it's the highest peak in all of the Maritimes. And because of that remoteness and the altitude, it is pristine observing sites. Like mentioned it before, I'll keep mentioning, I have astronomy colleagues that go there, and when the conditions are right, the Milky Way is bright enough to cast a shadow. So that just goes to show you that that is something that should be cherished. It should be something that should be experienced. And at that altitude, like you can see, like the horizon is very low, 360 degrees, right? And when you look at the experience it provides with the natural settings, it just makes for amazing stargazing for sure. So that's why people go there, and you know, it is definitely known for that fact. Then it will take us a little bit eastward to just below Miramichi to Koochibukwak National Park. It's along the coast on the Northumberland Strait, just like I said, just south of Miramichi, and it is also a dark sky preserve. And the beauty there, again, it's on the coast. It's amazing. You look north and eastward, and the horizons are so low. Aside from Mount Carlton, it is probably the best place in New Brunswick from a certified dark sky site to see the northern lights when they are visible, because you're on the water, right? The horizon's so low, the lower that is, and if you can get a great view northward to look at the northern lights, it's something that shouldn't be missed. And just even without the northern lights, the sky again are very pristine. That's why it gets that designation, and it's very well situated close to the Moncton Center, about not even an hour away from there. So it's a great spot when we look at the northeast of the province. Then if we go southeast, just below Moncton, more westward just slightly, we got the Fundy National Park. And again, the settings, I can't say enough about the beauty this province has, because the way everything rises in the night sky, it starts from the east and southeast of the sky, and that's where the elliptical, and that's how our planet rotates. So everything rises from there, moving westward. So when you are at Fundy National Park, you're on the water, very close to the water, again, the shore of the Bay of Fundy, and again, very low horizons, and you're got unobstructed views of from east to southwest. It's where a lot of the action happens. You know, when in the summer months you see the Milky Way rising, or as you get into the fall winter area, and you see the Orion constellation rising from that region, like you can see the sky like it's unimaginable. So it is also a dark sky preserve. And then the fourth and final site is an urban star park, which is the Irving Nature Park on the west side of the city of St. John, again on the coast of the Bay of Fundy. The skies aren't quite as pristine, but being so close to a city core, they're surprisingly very dark, and you can almost see almost everything that you could see in the other dark sky. So being so close to the St. John Center and easily accessible to the southwest of the province, it makes for a great destination, and you're just literally minutes away from the downtown core. So it makes for an exceptional setting at the same time. So those are our four dark sky sites. I think the province could have so many more. It needs a little bit of, I guess, some not lobbying, but creating the interest and from not only the astronomy, the Royal Astronomy Society of Canada, the New Brunswick chapter, but if the province also gets on board with this, I mean, Mactaquac Provincial Park, very near to Fredericton, could be an urban star park. New River Beach could be a nocturnal preserve. And there's countless areas around the province that I think the problem is, it's not a problem, sorry. It's an endeavor that requires that somebody handles the meeting the requirements and maintaining those requirements, because to qualify as a dark sky site, you have to make sure there's limited development of light pollution in that given region. So it has to be a sustained effort that needs to be managed and needs to be supported, probably from not just government standpoint, but also and then tourism industry standpoint, because all these potential sites I've mentioned are the go-to destination where you can find a lot of small tourism and mid-sized tourism operators. So if they need it, I think there would be an actual effort to sustain it and make it happen.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you. Third question.
Sure.
Dark skies in Canada, an overview of a great opportunity. Where are they?
Right now, there's about 30 certified dark sky sites across the country. I sent you a map that you'll probably show here in the podcast, but they're very well dispersed. Aside from Newfoundland and PI, who have one each, most provinces have more than one. Obviously, the Ontario has several, Quebec too, and as you get out west, Saskatchewan and Alberta have some great ones too, along with BC. The territories don't have as many, but I don't think they have to really promote or have that as a tool because of their remoteness in the north. Is there the potential to be more? I mean, we're the second biggest country in the world. 90% of our population lives within 150 miles of the Canada-US border. That's a lot of open space as you get away from the border heading now north. So could Canada accommodate 100, 200 dark side? That could be the astronomy being a little bit greedy, but I mean, with such
200,
I think there could
dark
be.
skies?
I think there's enough provincial, federal parks and preserves that are, whether driven by the government or not, that could easily get that designation, because it's a great country, so wide, so large, but most 90% of our population lives within an hour and a half of the US border. So that leaves the remainder, I'd say probably 90% of the area of the country away from the border, that is very remote, very rural, very out in the woods or along the coast or whatever, because now we're not only coast to coast, we're to coast too, heading to the Arctic Ocean. That's a lot of land that's, right now not developed, not having settlements, cities or towns habitate them, but people do enjoy the nature, and that's what you do. When you go enjoy nature, you got your daily activities, but at night you just need to look up, and it's an amazing show. It just complements everything else that you do.
Nice, fantastic. Thank you. we are in the last question. I can't believe this conversation is so fast today. What's happened?
Yeah, a little bit more prepared.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for our final question. AstroTourism and winter authentic experience. What you can tell us about?
Well, I've always personally myself enjoyed winter. Having lived most of my life in northern New Brunswick, we go skating outside, go snowshoeing, go snowmobiling, and take in the season that not everybody likes, but we have to deal with it. But because the night sky changes with every season, there's something different at every season to see. And with a whole bunch of activities that people are already dedicated to as a hobby or for fun, or go somewheres because that area has some great amenities or settings to take in, snowmobiling, skiing, and all that. You have a different night sky than you would see than as if you were in the summer months camping. And so that in itself has a lot of appeal. From a stargazing standpoint, the colder the air is, the better the viewing is, because you have less of that atmospheric turbulence. And you see the difference even if you put a pair of binoculars up or a telescope up. There's not as much as that twinkle. It's crisper because of that. If you can brave the cold and either dress up warmly enough or have a heater nearby, or just go out and then go by the fireplace to warm up, or have a hot chocolate, you can take in a good session outside and get some amazing views. I mean, during the winter, the beauty of the Orion constellation, which is so busy of a sight, from big stars that would make our sun look so puny, from Betelgeuse to Rigel, making one shoulder and 1 foot of Orion. Then you got Orion's belt, the 3 stars. There's some nebulas that are nearby from the great constellation of Great Nebula of Orion that makes up mostly its sword. When you look as Orion, the constellation is known as Orion the Hunter, right? So, and then you look just next to one of the 3 belt stars on the left. There's 2 nebulas that are, one is visible with the right filters in the telescope. The other one you have to shoot with a camera because it's so faint. But when you get the the image developed of the Horsehead Nebula and the Flame Nebula side by side. It's probably one of the most photographed pair of celestial bodies that I know of. And actually the Orion Nebula as well is so photographed. It's probably actually the most photographed item in the sky, just because it's so visible even to naked eye. And then you got the Winter Circle, which when you look at the sky as a whole, it's basically 7 stars that are forming like an hexagon in the sky. And when you close that hexagon, it takes probably a third of the entire sky. So that's some of the items that you can see that you during the winter that you don't get to see the rest of the year, because come summer months, Orion is up during the daytime, so we can't see it. So winter has a lot to offer. If you're going snowmobiling, you're going snowshoeing, you're going to ski, and what do you do in the evenings when you're relaxing and all that? Well, look outside, look up, and I see all these tourism operators that have these dome sites with the hot tubs on the deck, and people love to hot tub in the winter for some reason. If you got access to the clear skies above you, that makes for quite an experience. Imagine the Geminids, the busiest meteor shower of the year is in December. And if you were sitting in the hot tub and you looked up, you could count anywhere from 75 to 120 shooting stars per hour. That's quite an experience, right? So, there's so much that the winter months, if you plan around it, from an astronomy standpoint, we always tell people dress for if it was 10 degrees colder. Well, if it's calling for -10, you dress for -20. It makes your experience a whole lot more enjoyable. And if you're catering to any of the tourism markets of snowmobiling, skiing, snowshoeing, hockey, or whatever, this is one way to offer value to your guests in the evening. So yeah, I think that there's a lot to be done year round, and do not discount the winter months as not an opportunity. I believe they are an opportunity.
Thank you, Stéphane.
You're very welcome.
What are your goals for next year?
Well, as you heard us talk before, I'm in the middle of planning for 2023. I'm actually working on creating some partnerships to work with some tourism operators around the province to do either some stargazing events or star parties, and also consult with them on how they can take this on and be self-reliant with a little bit of investment, a little bit of time in learning the hobby, and then how to pivot it and incorporate it in their business to help them drive hopefully more traffic, get more value out of their guests who are probably willing to pay more for such an experience. From another standpoint, I'm also looking with having as a minimum point, at least 6 destinations that Cliff Valley Astronomy will be promoting to plan your vacations with your family or with friends come next year. I hope to have those out ready late winter as I roll out my website, and you'll be able to book those through Cliff Valley Astronomy with the key purpose of looking for AstroTourism related destinations. So I'm currently engaging with many in the industry right now to form those partnerships. We got an event coming to Doketown with the Storytown Cottages along the beautiful Miramichi River. We're doing something on November 18th. I can't wait. And then hopefully that'll showcase to the owners there that there is potential for them as a year-round tourism operator that's busy year-round. They cater to snowmobilers, hunters, fishermen in the summer, people that kayak on the river, and so forth. So the dark skies of central New Brunswick are a great location to stargaze, and where they're at, I think it's a opportunity I hope they fully explore, and I hope I can help them with doing that. So there's a lot of plans on the go. So as you know, working with you on several fronts on some great opportunities to keep getting the message out there, and hopefully I'll keep reinventing the wheel with finding new ways of people to get an awesome experience while they travel, and do it by looking up at night. Oh, you're muted. Can you hear?
My microphone was muted.
That's okay.
Thank you. I hope to bring some tools from AstroTourism in New Brunswick, and you is the leader of this development. Thank you very much.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much for your attention today. I hope you could grab a little coffee to enjoy this beautiful interview with Stéphane Picard. He is owner of the Cliff Valley Cliff Valley Astronomy, and they work with AstroTourism, the first AstroTourism company in New Brunswick. And we want to see your business shine, and bring a lot of visitors to Canada, because we need to share with the world the beautiful environment and the beautiful opportunities we have here. Thank you very much for your efforts to shine AstroTourism in New Brunswick, and count on EXA Group Canada to leverage our business through Canada.
Fantastic. Thank you, Edmar.
Thank you. Guys, if you are not subscribed yet to our channel, please do it now. Subscribe to Contator Podcast here in your YouTube, or if you are listening our podcast through Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Castbox, or other podcast platform you like more, please follow us and give your like. Your like is important to share our information around the world. No borders for good things. We together. Thank you very much, Stéphane. Thank you very much, listening, and see you soon. Okay, we start to record. If you want to present that scale you have from the dark skies to our public, it's time to do that now.
Okay. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So when we talk about a dark sky site, it relies on the Bortle scale. There's other factors, but this is the key driver. The higher the number, the more light pollution. So when you look at a Bortle of 9, that's like a downtown Toronto, Calgary, or Montreal type of thing. As you move away from the city core, the Bortle scale number goes down, which translates into darker skies. And many rural, coastal areas are enjoying a Bortle sky typically of Bortle 1 to Bortle 4, and that is exceptional dark skies. And that's what, as you can see along the illustration here, is what you see more and more of. Like the Milky Way is quite visible naked eye. You get star clusters that become visible to the naked eye. Galaxies like the Andromeda galaxy, naked eye, you can see it. If you took astrophotography, you could see that it's the width of 6 full moons in the sky, but naked eye you see more of the core, which still would be about 2 full moons in sizes. So that's quite exceptional to see, and so it makes for better viewing from everything from meteor showers to anything at all, really. And as you get into lower dark Bortle scales, the more stars you see. So at a Bortle 1, even me as a seasoned astronomer, I got to take a second to really look and recognize the constellations, because there's so many dots in the sky because they're so pristine. It's a little bit harder to make out the shapes. So when we refer to Bortle's scale driving dark sky sites, if you hear that you're at least in the Bortle 3 or better, you could qualify your region for maybe an urban star park if you're close to a metro area or a small city, or if you're lower, then you can get the designation of a nocturnal preserve, or a 1 would definitely make your region known as a dark sky preserve. But again, there's stuff that needs to, there's a process to it that has to be committed to and maintained. So that's conversations can be had. You can reach out to Cliff Valley Astronomy to get some more details about it, or reach out to your nearest Royal Astronomical Society of Canada chapter. Every province has a chapter, whether it's city-based or province-wide based, and they can help you guys with the understanding what the process is and what would be the next steps.
Okay, what is the main contact to speak with you?
You can reach out to me on either Facebook or Instagram, or email me at cliffvalleyastronomy@gmail.com. I will have a website in the coming months, so once that's done, you'll be able to Google me and go from there. I'll have more contact details from there, but I'm very responsive. I usually reply within an hour or two of getting any messages, and then I'll be glad to talk to you about anything astronomy or astrotourism related.
Fantastic. Stefan, please, I have one more question, sorry. But I love to speak with you. What was the best beautiful place you went to see the dark skies?
Hey, boys, there's again, we're so fortunate to live in the area of the world we're in, because the beauty of it, like every experience a little bit different. I go to Storytown Cottages a couple times a year, and that's along the Miramichi River. You got the forest, the valley. That gives a great setting when you look up. I've been in Fundy or St. Martin's for along the coast experience. I've been in Costa Rica, so just to say, I've seen dark skies from different parts of the world. But I have to say right now, my favorite has been right here in New Brunswick. I'll just limit it to New Brunswick because I go everywhere to do stargazing. So I've been fortunate, even through my business of doing star parties for private groups and all that. I've been to Fredericton, here in the St. John area, Moncton, so it's a beautiful province, offers beautiful settings, and because there's a lot of opportunities to enjoy dark skies, it's really anywhere in New Brunswick is my favorite spot, I'd say.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you.
Good question.
This keep our attention to New Brunswick. No?
Yeah. So, yeah.
You are really smart. You are bring attention to New Brunswick.
Yeah. Favorites.
Thank you. Let me stop for it.
That's a good question.